fastest show in sports.
I'm not a fan of wrestling. I'm not. I've when I was a kid, I watched it in New York City. We used to watch Bruno Sammartino, the man who had more hair on his back than any living human being on the face of the planet, and we used to have fun
Oh
with
yeah.
him.
Oh, you could hide snacks in that hair on his back.
I
Like I
mean,
would have.
the
That's what
man,
I would
how
have
did he
done.
put on a shirt, for crying out loud, because he was covered in so
Oh
much hair? It was like almost
yeah.
aboriginal in so many ways. But we kind of
Yeah.
looked at it and it was okay, fun. I mean, that was the era too when we thought roller derby was real, and that wasn't real either, and wrestling wasn't real. So I'm not
Oh,
a fan of.
roller derby was cool though.
See, roller derby was kind of cool, and also made me pick up a pair of skates, and I later played in a roller derby, an unofficial roller derby league where I was good. Uh,
You were James. You were James. You were James Caan in
I
rollerball.
was I was dangerous. I was part of the James Conn
Yeah.
era, yes, and all that rollerball. But never been a fan of wrestling. It's okay if it goes on. I don't go to WrestleMania. I wasn't
Yeah.
one of those people. But there comes a time when you have to start separating what happens in the ring with what happens in real life. And the story that we've been following here the last couple of days, and you brought this up, is one that I think bears a lot of discussion. There's a guy named Roger Jackson. He is a son of a former wrestler called Rampage, I believe. And again,
Rampage. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know everything about it. He was at an event recently featuring a wrestler by the name of Syko Stu Smith. And apparently Jackson was invited. He's not a wrestler. He's more MMA, I guess. And there was an incident earlier in the card where Smith apparently slammed an empty beer can into Jackson's head as part of the whole shtick. Now, we all know, and let's be honest, anybody who tells you that wrestling isn't fake hasn't been watching. It's choreographed. You're supposed to do certain things at certain times.
Yeah.
But it got out of hand at this point where Jackson went off after the guy and started to wail on him. And for those of you watching on the YouTube channel right now, this is the video of that moment. That's Jackson in the white shirt. That's one of the other wrestlers trying to tear him off. But as you see, and you'll see it again, he basically took Smith, slammed him to the mat, and then came in with a number of punches. Now, let's do this. If you look, Mike, a lot of the punches did not land. I was looking real close. I would say maybe half the punches landed. The other half were air punches. But in the end, it sends Smith to the hospital. There's a GoFundMe page for him. He was terribly injured in all this when Jackson started to wail on him. And for me, this has to bring up the discussion of when does what happens inside a sporting arena basically, and there's the slam again, come into real life. This is assault, Mike. And
Yeah.
you could even say assault with a deadly weapon, depending on whether or not you list the guy's fist as a deadly weapon. But this is out of hand. This is not wrestling. This isn't fun.
Yeah, I saw the original clip, the can incident's kind of like out of the blue. I didn't know that was part of the script. I mean, he really crushes a huge can on his head, and the guy, the Jackson guy's kind of like, what's up? What are you doing? And he was very upset about it. And he's supposed to, I guess it was all part of the thing. And there's another wrestler who basically egged on the Raja Jackson guy, and that he later said that was just part of the show. He didn't really egg him on to really hurt the guy. And so I don't know, like what I when I was a kid, I used to watch wrestling. And the funny thing is, my favorite wrestler was this guy named Rocky Johnson. Rocky Johnson was in the Bay Area, and there used to be Bay Area wrestling. That's where I thought and he'd wrestle these guys. And Peter Maivia was one of the guys. And anyway, so I kind of after I became an adolescent, I was sort of like, okay, this is ridiculous. I think my father got tickets to one big show in Honolulu, and it was fun. It's every bad racial stereotype. Mr. Fuji, I get on Mr. Fuji, and the black guy, the black guys are like the tag team is like crime time, and then the white guys are like Big Country Jack, Psycho Stu Smith, like
Sure.
it just every
Well, it
bad
still
racial
is. To this day,
stereotype
it's
that could
still
be
how they
out
promote
there.
wrestling.
Right, and it's sort of like it's all fake, but it plays into these bad stereotypes or whatever. If people want to enjoy it, that's how they get their kicks. To me, it's like going to a. You don't become a mass shooter because you go play Fortnite at a video game parlor. You kind of you blow off some steam with your friends. That's it. But this kind of stuff, I've watched it several times, and it's really disturbing. Yeah, it's over the top. It's awful. It's awful, and but it brings to light, you know, how how this stuff, all this ugliness is really percolating beneath. I mean, I think about all the times that the awful things said to different wrestlers, racially and otherwise. I did a story on Booker T. Washington, some guy that was Booker Washington. They called him Book. He was five-time world champion. He had his big moment. The WWE signed him up or whatever it was, and he was who's the guy in charge of the WWE
Well,
now?
that was Vince McMahon for many years.
Yeah, but his son-in-law is now is in charge of
Oh,
it, and he's a big-time wrestler, and he basically was supposed. He thought
Triple
that
H.
Booker, huh?
Triple H.
Triple H, right? Triple H, you got it. Triple H, and this was supposed to be the moment like Booker, becomes the first Black WE champion or something after The Rock, and it's like a big moment. And of course, the script is Triple H beats Book, and he's kind of, and even talking to him about it years later, like he said, yeah, I was in the script, that's what I had to do. He was bummed. He was bummed that he could not be, whatever, get that fandom, whatever the money is and all that. And I think that he was genuinely bummed by it. And so look, there's no excuse for somebody going overboard like that. But when you see the guy's the beer can crushed on his head,
Yeah, but
and
that's
he's
part
not
of the
ready
act, though,
for it.
Mike. That's part of the
That
act.
was, did he know that was part of the script?
We don't know. Now, according to the story, Smith apparently, allegedly, apologized to Jackson after he did the can incident.
And they shook hands.
And they shook hands. But apparently, then all this came later because Jackson was going to mete out a little justice and a little revenge. We don't know. And again, we don't know if this was part of the script, too. Yeah, I know Smith is sitting there and he's in the hospital right now and they got a GoFundMe page, but I'm going to play Mr. Skeptic at the moment here when it comes to wrestling. There's a lot of it that's fake and a lot of it was planned. Was it planned for Jackson to come in and pile on him? Did Jackson actually injure him? I haven't seen a medical report yet.
Well, wait. We just saw the tape. You played that tape several times for
Right.
everybody that's on the YouTube, and at least a couple of those punches landed flush. The guy was unconscious. I mean,
Right.
he was legitimately unconscious. He lost a couple teeth apparently. Now, I don't know. You're right. Like, was that part of? If there's a GoFundMe page, is Syko Stu Smith? Is he like a low level guy that doesn't make any money? I'm sorry. If I'm gonna spend, I'm not saying that nobody deserves anything, but doesn't he have insurance? Is it if you're gonna spend money on a
Probably
GoFundMe
not.
page on a wrestler?
Probably
On a
not.
wrestler, he better be on life support or need a liver transplant because I'm not sending my money to some guy that is a professional wrestler and got in the ring and something happened to him inside his own profession. Come on. We got a lot of people hurting in this country. Psycho Stu Smith is at the bottom of my list.
Well, it brings up the other thing that I talked about here. Where do we separate what becomes an assault from a sport? Now, I mean, we can blow this open.
This is here's
ways,
the art.
because
Yeah.
here you have, and somebody will always say to me, first off, but Ed, you're a big hockey fan. What about fighting? Anybody attacks somebody in a fight in a hockey game, shouldn't that be assault? I would argue back and say it's part of the sport and part of the game, and it's allowed in the rules. Well, it's not technically allowed in the rules. It goes back and forth.
There have been guys that have been charged criminally
Yes, there
in
have.
hockey. I mean, Marty McSorley, when he hit Donald Brashear with his and knocked him cold that was the end of Marty McSorley's career in Vancouver, and the end of his
should
NHL
Jackson
career.
be arrested? I mean, that's the point of it. I mean, it wasn't because
This guy should be arrested.
Okay,
This guy
but
should be arrested.
why?
He should.
It's a
And he
sport.
should. No, but he should be arrested because he broke the code of real physical violence. And the guy's
Ah,
on the
the code.
guys. This isn't a choreographed skit when he starts laying him out and he's just laying there like that.
We don't
It
know.
wasn't fake punches. But here's my defense. If I'm Raja Jackson, I'm getting a lawyer to tell me, look, I was egged on by one of the guys in the script. I went a little too far, but this was all part of it. And yeah, maybe I got too overzealous. I can't imagine him spending a day in jail for this.
Wait a minute. Look at something. I want you to watch something. I'm going to play it again. I want you to
All right.
watch Jackson after he slams Smith down to the canvas, and then I want you to watch his hands when he is starting to punch him, and start counting the
Okay.
times that he throws air punches, doesn't connect. That now, if you're going to beat somebody up and if you're going to get them and they're on
Let me
the
see.
ground, you're going to hit them. There's a lot of times here where a lot of these punches don't even touch Smith. Watch.
All right.
Watch
Boom.
that hit.
Boom.
That hit. Hit.
Oh,
Hit.
that.
Miss.
Oh,
Miss.
wait.
Miss. Miss. Miss.
No, no. There's at least four straight punches to the face that are
Correct.
as hard as he could possibly hit him. Come on,
Correct.
he
But
knocked
there's
it. The
also
guy
fake
is
punches as
unconscious.
well.
The guy is unconscious. He doesn't get up, Ed.
But there's also fake punches in there. So don't. And because wrestling is basically made on a script, how much of this is real? And did Jackson basically go over script? Was a script to beat him? Was a script to put him in the hospital? How many times have we seen in wrestling where
No.
professional wrestlers have had to go to the hospital and people will say, "Oh, that's part of the script"? I mean, we just
No,
don't know.
unless we find out that Psycho Stu Smith had some kind of a punch repelling mask on his face. Like, come on, Ed. This guy, he nails him. The
That's four
first
or five.
three or
He hits him
four,
five
the
times.
first 3 or 4 or 5 are
Now that right
malicious.
there, he hits him 5 times, misses a bunch of punches, and then we saw it right there where it comes back, and it's his right hand where he comes back and nails him a few times. Here, hang on a sec. I'm going to see if I can just bring this back. I don't know if
I
I
mean, it's
can.
just to me, it's gratuitous violence. I've seen it so much, I just can't.
Well, but
You
again,
know,
it comes
like
back to this whole
like
thinking
anybody that's
process
got
that
somebody defenseless in a ground and pound situation.
then he should
And
be arrested.
I've been there in elementary school on the bottom. I haven't been on top much, but it's no fun. And you can't do anything because someone's pinning your arms down while they're punching you. So I'm just not. Look, the guy should be arrested. He should go. He should spend a night or two in lockup or after they pay bail. But the idea of him going to jail
He
for
did
any
it in a sport
length of
though,
time.
Mike.
What?
He did it in a sport. He did it in the competition of the sport. And whether or not there are
Uh,
any rules or not, how can
or
you say that he's guilty of assault when he does what everybody else is doing technically as part of a script in wrestling? That's the game.
Yeah, but that's not. But hitting someone with malice isn't part of the script.
Okay, but did he hit it with malice or was this part of the script? I hate to keep going back to that.
I don't. I don't think. You're the only person in America today, and maybe the world, that is looking at that and going, "Yeah, I think that's a fake punch that just clocked him and knocked him
Well, there
out."
were some punches that were
You may be
missed.
the only person that thinks that's a
I
fake
saw it.
punch.
I saw it. And I'm not saying it was all staged.
Well, who else is saying that? I haven't seen anybody say that those are fake
Well,
punches.
they're not looking. Didn't you see the ones that were missed? They were ones that were
I
missed.
mean, yeah, I mean, after the damage was done and the guy's like lost teeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it comes down again to the arrest factor, and it's all because again, you'll go right back to it. National Hockey League, you go overboard, you hit somebody. Football, what about that? What about Shiloh
Well,
Sanders who throws a punch at somebody, which we're going to get into here in a
well, you
moment,
can't.
when it's not in
But
the
you're but
rules?
you're analogizing actual competition versus entertainment. This was like
Okay,
an actor on
there
a
it
set.
is.
This was an actor on a set that went off script and started clocking whatever De Niro because he didn't like how he acted, or Matt Damon when he goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs sometimes on sets, and he goes into Rage Boy.
Well, no,
That's what that
Damon
is.
doesn't
That's
do it as much as Christian Bale did it.
this is entertainment. Wrestling has always been entertainment.
So
Real
because
wrestling
this is
exists in the
entertainment, then
Olympics.
okay.
That's it.
So hang on, I'm gonna play what you just said. So because this is entertainment more than sports, then we need
Yeah.
to let this go because it's part of the entertainment and it is not part of an assault on anybody.
No.
So then you don't arrest him.
The entertainment is not malicious violence. It's sort of the idea is sort of like fake kicking somebody, ducking when somebody, so they throw you into the turnbuckle. It's a dance. It's like going to a performative dance. And if you think about it, you go to a performative dance and all of a sudden the person with the kitchen drapes that they're, watching around with a swan just takes those kitchen drapes and puts it around somebody and choking them to death. And you think, geez, this isn't what I expected.
That's all, folks.